Yo, RX back with another breakdown of a fire fucking card, not UFC Vegas. No Vegas here. We are in Abu Dhabi, which means wake up early. We never know, but take you up to bed. Before I talk about a pay-per-view, some firefights and all that, let's do a quick recap of UFC Vegas 62, because I do that. Quick recap, ready? Let's go. Rodriguez and Jackson, thank God for P. Rodriguez. Tara and CJ Vergara, God, Tatsuo was really good. Rodriguez and Hughes, close fight, could won either way, but I think the right person won. Brito and Alexander, predictable. Malkoun and Maximov, without the injury, Maximov would have won. Martinez and Davis, predictable. Menafield and Serkinov, told you so. Asunción and Henry's all hype. Todorovic and Wright, great fight. Martinez and Swanson, Cubs old. Grasso, Araujo, exactly what you expect. You got an Alexa Grasso fight, 25 minutes of great boxing. But enough of talking about fight night. We are finally back for a pay-per-view, a stacked one at that, on Fight Island, UFC 280. Who's excited? If you have a pulse, you're excited for this fucking card. So, before I get into it, like, comment, sub, 100 subs go by the end of the year. Not gonna hit it, but can dream. And as always, anything I can think to say? I don't think I'm forgetting anything. You want to talk about some fights? I know you don't want to hear me talk about fights. I'm gonna talk about some fights. Let's talk about some fights. 12 fights. We have lost a couple fights just in the past couple hours. We did lose, where is it? Zabira Turkov versus Lucas Alexander. Turkulov, how do you say his name, had a bad weight cut and that fight got cancelled. Now we're down to a 12 fight card, which still 12 fine fights, but the more the merrier. But let's start off with the first fight of the card. We have Lena Elbow Queen Landsberg versus Carl Rosa. Let's talk about Lena Landsberg. Lena is old as fuck, 40 years old. In the UFC, she's 4-5. Yeah. Her wins really nothing to write home about. Macy Chasson about a couple years ago. Her losses: Cyborg, Aspen Ladd, Yana Kunishkaya, Sarah McMahon, and Penny Kianzad. So she's losing to fighters with names. She's not losing to nobodies, but still, I think you could do better. But that's just what I think. She's a decent fighter. In her last fight, she still showed she has what it takes to put on a great fight against Penny Kianzad in a rematch. She gave Penny a fight. She didn't win, but she gave Penny a fight, and the two Swedes had a war. She can still go. For being 40, she only has what? Fucking 16 fights. So, fight age-wise, damage-wise, she's not that old. Age-wise, she is, so the body is weaker automatically, but fight-wise, she's not that old. She's been to wars, but still, she can still go. It's on a 2-fight skid, and this is a must-win for her. And yeah, this first time she's been active consistently since 2019. And let's see if she can pick up a big win here. She's gonna need it. Or she might as well retire. Which she might, fuck. Let's talk about her opponent, the fighter who was meant to be a bright prospect for this division, but then got her fucking ass beat in her last fight, Carol Earlson. In the UFC, Carol is 4-1. Her wins, really no one besides Betch Correia. Her loss was also to Sarah McMahon, so her and Lena do share one thing. Sarah McMahon really likes to beat them. She got dominated in that McMahon fight. She showed that she has very little wrestling, and yeah, she got 30-27 by fucking Sarah McMahon. Terrible look. And I mean a terrible fucking look. You should not be getting 30-27 by Sarah McMahon in 2022. When you're 27 and she's 45. Yeah, that was an embarrassing performance by Rosa. But she's back, trying to bounce back from a embarrassing performance. Yeah, long story short is her striking ain't terrible. Her wrestling game is, and she really needs to win here because she cannot drop another fight to an old fighter because she's now fought back-to-back fighters who are 40 plus, and she's in her prime, so yeah, she needs a winner. And the betting odds think she's gonna get it -330. Goddamn, she jumped up to +260. I don't get it. How the fuck could you put her at -330 after her last fight against someone older than Landsberg? Probably not even as good as Landsberg, for being honest. And if you look at Rosa's record, her best win is fucking Betch Correia. I don't get it. I'm confused. I'm honestly confused. But, you know, whatever. I'm sorry. Apologize for that. Yeah, I disagree with these odds. I think these odds are wrong. And I think Rosa being the favorite does make sense, but like -125.30, not -330. But even that being said, I'm not gonna go Carol Rosa here. I'm gonna go with the elbow queen, Lena Landsberg. I don't know why. I just feel like she could get the upset here. She's finally, I think her last fight, she got to knock the rust off of being off for 2 years. And I think she can still go in this division. She's not looking her age in her last fight against Penny Kianza, who I think is a very underrated, good fighter. So, if she can get it to the mat, land some dirty elbows, curse blade style, maybe land some on the feet, bloody Rosa up, fucking fuck up her eyesight, and throw her off her game, I think Landsberg get the W here. So that being said, I am going to go Lena Landsberg by decision. I think she can pull off the upset here. It's underdog season to begin the card. But underdog season ends real quick with the next fight, as we have the lock of the night already and the biggest favorite on the card. As we have Muhammad the Punisher Mukayev versus Malcolm X Gordon. Let's talk about Muhammad Mukayev. What is there to say about Muhammad Mukayev besides the kid's looking like a future UFC champion? He looks good. He's looking fucking great. He's 2-0 in the UFC. In his debut, ran through Cody Durden, and in his last fight, underwhelming performance against Charles Johnson, but you know, it happens. No one's flawless. Now he's trying to go 3-0 in 2022, and he's already talking about his fourth UFC fight in 2022, trying to find December. So the kid's good. If he can do what he should do here, he's gonna be a fucking issue for that division. Cause he's looking like a future UFC champion. Deadass. He's looking like he's gonna be a problem. A guy who is not a problem in the slightest for that division is Malcolm Gordon. Yes, he's on a 2-fight winning streak, kind of. Yes, actually, that's the only thing good I can say about him. He is 2-2 in the UFC. He lost his first 2 fights in the UFC to Amir Albazi and Sumadarji, but then he bounced back in his last 2 fights, beating Francisco Figueiredo and Dennis Bondar, kind of, because Bondar did break his arm. So I kind of put an asterisk next to that, but you know. Yeah, Malcolm Gordon ain't good. Like, if you notice, his 2 losses are to ranked guys who are pretty good, and his 2 wins are against unranked guys who are pretty shitty. Francisco Figueiredo. Really? Yeah, he's really not great anywhere. He's just not good. Really, he is being fed to wolves in this fight. If we're being honest, he has no fucking chance. Mukayev is gonna kill him, and nothing more to say. And the betting odds agree. Muhammad Mukayev minus 1200. I would probably move him up to. You could have if you got a Mukayev minus 3000. I wouldn't argue. I could see it. He's gonna win, man. He's gonna win. And like I said, he is my lock of the night. He should win. So I'm going Muhammad Mukayev by submission in the first. He should run through Malcolm Gordon. Nothing more to say. Muhammad Mukayev lock submission in the first. After that, the worst fight on the card, not even because it's a bad fight, just because compared to everything else, it's very, very underwhelming. Arman Superman Petrosian versus AJ Dobson. I'm not going to talk a lot on this fight because I really don't care. Arman is 1-1 in the UFC. In his debut, he got a win over Gregory Rodriguez, which has aged like wine. But then his last fight, Kyle Borrello destroyed him. He's a decent striker, and yeah, nothing more to say. His wrestling ain't really up to par. For AJ Dobson, he is 0-1 in the UFC, also coming off Contender Series. He's coming off a terrible loss to Jacob Malkoun when AJ gassed badly, and Malkoun just jumped at the opportunity to win, and he did. AJ's game plan here is going to be try and wrestle Arman, but Dobson ain't half the wrestler Kyle Borrello is, and Arman was in there for 15 minutes against RoboCop, so he has toughness. Wrestling he might not have, but you know, apples and oranges, whatever. So, not much to say about this fight. I am going to go Arman Petrosian to win this fight. I think he's the better fighter, to be honest, and I think he's just should get the win here. So I'm going Arman Petrosian by probably decision. So yeah, I might change to a finish, but I doubt it. I'll probably just stick with a decision. So Petrosian decision. After that, we move on to the real prelims, because this fight got moved up from the EPs because of the Almeida fight talked about earlier being cancelled. So we start off with the second worst fight on the card, and it's not great. It could be better, but this could be a fun fight. And good luck, Bruce Buffer, saying these names. I can say them because I'm a fucking weirdo. We have, and that's why I'm not just making shit up, Abubakar Nurmagomedov versus Gadzi Omagadzhiev. Yes, so they're two real fighters. I'm Abubakar. Yes. Let's talk about Nurmagomedov. No, not Islam or Khabib or the 18 other fucking siblings they have. Abubakar. He is 1-1 UFC in his debut. He lost to David Zawaba, and then in his second UFC fight, he bounced back with a win against Jared Gooden. I do remember that Gooden fight somewhat. He looked pretty good, but Jared Gooden ain't that great or not the highest accomplishment in the world. But still, a decent one's a decent win. He's been off for about a year and a half now, so I guess he's just been busy training other fighters, which respect. But yeah, and he's back and ready to show what he can do on a card headlined by the #1 Khabib guy now, and maybe he can put his name on the map with a good enough performance here. His last name's Magomedov, so he's gonna try and wrestle your bitch ass. Speaking of getting his bitch ass wrestled, Gadzi Omagadziev. In the UFC, he is 0-1 after getting completely wrestle fucked by Kyle Borrello for about 15 minutes. Yeah, Kyle did whatever he wanted to him. Gadzi is moving down from middleweight because he was a pretty small middleweight, only 6'1". This is his first fight at 170 in his career, so, and he made weight, and so it seems like he didn't have a bad cut. He looked fine at the weigh-ins, and yeah, not much. He's not shown much to give a real evaluation in the UFC and DWCS. You know. Battle of Russians here. Who's gonna take it? The betting odds do agree with me. Do think Abubakar Nurmagomedov is gonna take it as a -165 favorite to +140. I would probably move Abubakar up a little bit to -180. Gadzi did not show anything in that Kyle fight to warrant not being a decent sized dog. So, and I think Abubakar is going to use that same game plan against Gadzi and just do what he has to do to wrestle him. So, I am going to go Abubakar Nurmagomedov by decision. I think he's going to smash, brother. That's Hamza, but close enough. Khabib would say that. Abubakar by decision. Now the hits of this card start hitting as we have two ranked light heavyweights going at it in a fight that could possibly not see scorecards, as we have Volkan No Time Uzdemir versus Nikita the Miner Krylov. Let's talk about Volkan Uzdemir. Both these guys fighting real quick after a UFC London turnaround. I think a lot of us already know these guys pretty well, so I'm not gonna go too in depth on them. But I think a little bit of a recap on who they are is warranted. Talk about Volkan. I didn't even know this. Apparently, Nikita and Uzdemir were meant to fight in 2020 on Fight Night, Ortega and Korean Zombie, but that did not happen. Uzdemir had a knee injury, so I'm not shocked these two have been lined up to fight before. I swear for the longest time that I can remember, they've been in the same position as like the middle tier of 205. Well, I say that Volkan did get a title shot, but let's be honest, luck. Volkan is coming off in my opinion, a surprise win against Paul Craig when he just made Paul Craig look like a dumbass for 15 minutes. So he does have good momentum going. Out of him and Krylov both did fight on the UFC London card with both getting the big wins. Who had the more impressive win? I'd probably say Uzdemir, because he beat a way better fighter. Paul Craig or Alexander Gustafsson in 2022. My point exactly. But we're talking about who's gonna win between them. And we all know we're going Volkan Oezdemir. Dude likes to throw as much leather as he can take, which is not much. His chin has been cracked many, many times, but he also has cracked many chins, so you know. He's been in there with some. He got a fucking shocker win against Alexander Rakic. Did get to be Yuri's first murder in the octagon. So, you know, evil dude. Let's talk about Krylov. He's not as much of a brawler as Oezdemir, but he is still a brawler. He definitely will go in there and fight. But in fights like in the Johnny Walker fight, he will just do what he has to do to get the smart win. Because all he did there was wrestle him for 15 minutes. So I think when it comes to ground game, Krylov is the better wrestler. But I highly doubt this fight hits the mat a lot. I think this probably gonna be a pure striking fest. Krylov, just like Oezdemir, has been in there with the cream of the crop at 205. Jan, Glover, both been in there with Magomed Ankalaev, both been in there with Paul Craig. Fucking everyone. Gustafsson, fucking a lot of people, so. This fight's close. I wasn't thinking about how close this fight was before, but yeah, this fight's really fucking close. Two dudes with sort of similar records, only 3 years apart, about the same height, same reach almost, fought a lot of same people. This fight's good. This is a really good fight. I think this should be the prelim co-main, but whatever. The betting odds have Nikita Krylov minus 175 to plus 150. I would agree. I think Krylov is the better fighter here. Not by a large margin, but I do think he has the better fighter here. And with that being said, I am going to go Nikita Krylov in this fight. I think he's just a better fighter here, and I think he'll do just what he has to do to get the win. So I'm going to go Nikita Krylov by decision. I could see him cracking the chin of Oezdemir, but I'm not counting on it. So Nikita Krylov by decision. Next up, the second to last prelim. And the last fight before the big 6 of the card. Two young 185ers, one of them's looking like a future top 15 dude. We have Makhmud Muradov versus Caio Necho Borralho, aka Charles Oliveira's big brother. I think they look like brothers, but yeah. Let's talk about Makhmud Muradov. I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen this dude fight. Oh yeah, it has been. It's been over a year. In the UFC, Muradov is 3-1. His wins against the guys most people beat at 185 to climb in the rankings. His loss in his last fight to GMC as a huge, I think it's like -5. Yeah, it's -6, huge favorite, but he gassed and GMC took that neck and subbed him. Terrible look for him, to be honest. Losing to GM3 like that and just gassing bad and all that. Terrible look. Yeah, not a good look. Very, very bad look. The kid still has potential, but no one's hyping him up anymore. He's only what, 20? He's 32. I thought he was younger. Yeah. This is the UFC ain't giving him any easier of a fight after just coming off a loss. So, you know, God, UFC is ruthless sometimes. Let's talk about Caio Borrello. 2-0 in the UFC, coming off Contender Series. He's looking like a monster of a problem. Running through Gadziev, and then running through Armand Petrosyan. Barely taking any damage from what I remember in his fights. And beating decent young dudes. And this is another decent young fighter. They ain't giving him. I'm shocked. I'm happy to see UFC not feeding Caio cans. Like, he's not fighting Michael Oleksiejczuk, Sam Alvey, fucking GM3, and Jamie Pickett. He's fighting Godzi and Armin, etc. So he's getting real fights. And I'm happy to, I like seeing that. I like seeing him get real fights because this kid's looking like a future top 15 dude. So if he can keep looking good, keep winning, I could easily see him in top 15 within 2-3 more fights. I'm not saying he's gonna be a champion. I'm not saying he's Muhammad Bukayev, but we've barely seen his striking. But I would like to see more of his striking, but I doubt we see it here. But I think he is pretty good. I do see a really bright future for Caio if he keeps doing this thing. Fuck. Yeah, the betting odds for this fight have Caio minus 205 to plus 170. I would agree. Maybe move Caio down to maybe 190. Because Murdov is still good. If he patched up the holes in his game, this fight could be really interesting. But I do think Caio is gonna get the win here. I think he's just a better fighter, to be honest. He's looking like a killer. He's really good, and yeah, I think this is a favorable matchup for him. A dude who coming off a bad loss to GM3. Yeah, nothing more to say. This fight fucked me up a little bit. But I'm getting ready to talk about the Big Six. So, yeah, overall, I am going to pick Caio Borrello here to get the win. And I think he's going to do it by... You know what? I think he gets his first UFC finish, not counting Contender Series. I think he's going to ground and pound Makhmud Muradov in round 3. I'm going Caio Borrello by TKO in round 3. I don't know why. I feel like he gets a finisher. I feel like he gets a GNP finish. So, Borrello, ground and pound, round 3. And now we get to talk about the Big Six, starting with the featured prelim that should be on the main card over Shakagan. Bilal, Remember I'm Lame Muhammad versus Sean Brady. Let's talk about Bilal Muhammad. I think a lot of us know Bilal by now for the meme that he is. He's not that good of a fighter, but he's a meme. Oh, these two are meant to fight also. He is on a win streak, a long one. In his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In his last 8 fights, he is 7-0-1. Not counting the one is Leon Edwards, where he got destroyed. Really, he's coming off 2 nice upset wins, but Wonder Boy is washed as fuck, and Luke has shown that he really was never that good. He's just a fun fighter. So realistically, those are his best UFC wins, but without saying much, if you really look into them, I don't think so. Bilal's game plan is to get you to the ground and win. If he could, he's getting you to the ground and he's gonna lay on you for 15 or 25 minutes. He has no power, and he's not even that great of a striker. He's an okay grappler, but yeah, he's not that great of a fighter. I think he's highly overrated. He just got really favorable matchups over time. For his opponent, Sean Brady, who I also think's got pretty favorable matchups. He's really fought nobodies, but you know, in the UFC, Brady is 5-0, beating Court McGee, Jake Matthews, Michael Chiesa, a few others. Good prospect, 14-0, I believe. Unless is it 15? 15-0, my bad. Looking to make it 16. In his last fight, he did have a huge step up in competition, fighting Michael Chiesa in a fight where he showed many holes. Main one being his gas tank is not meant for 25-minute fights, barely made for 15-minute fights. He definitely needs help with his gas tank, because if that Chiesa fight was another round even, or an extra minute or so, he would have got finished on the feet by Michael Chiesa. Not a good look. Brady is very good. He's very strong. He has decent power in his hands, fine striking. But his gas tank, Bilal's definitely gonna wear on him. I'll give Bilal that. He does wear on you. He might do it in some lame way, so it's boring, but Bilal will wear on you over time. And if Brady puts on an insane pace with having to deal with Bilal's takedowns and all that, I could see Bilal winning this fight off of just a late round 2, just ground and pounding to win the round. Round 3, Brady's gas, Bilal gets on top, etc. Do I think that's gonna happen? Probably not. I think me and the betting odds are on the same field here, thinking Brady is minus 140. I would probably move him up a little bit, maybe 150 on the dot. I think he's the stronger wrestler and the better striker. So, with that being said, I do think Sean Brady can keep his O and beat Bilal Muhammad. So I'm going Sean Brady by decision. Good prelims. We've lost a little bit from them, but you know, shit happens. But now we move on to a stacked main card. 5 fights, stacked from ranking to ranking, number to number, and let's talk about the first fight on the main card. And it's not great, but it's gonna be a good 15-minute fucking kickboxing match. And we got Caitlin Blonde Fighter Shukagian versus Manon the Beast Fierro. Caitlin Shukagian did miss weight at the weigh-ins, first time she ever has in her career. And the fight's still on, as I know of. I don't see Manon's just gonna take Caitlin's money and fight. That'd be stupid for her to say no to this fight. And now, clearly Caitlin had a bad weight cut. She did not look amazing at the weigh-ins. She had to get the 10 out and still missed by 2 pounds, so she clearly did not have an amazing cut. But to talk about her as in the cage, she is a complete point fighter. She is not that great. She screams a lot. Her main tactic is yell loud enough to make the judges think I'm doing something, and it works. Jennifer Maia, Amanda Ribas. I think Ribas won that fight. It was close, but I think Ribas took it. She just screamed. Judges are so fucking stupid. They just fall for stupid shit, and they gave her a couple wins because of that screaming shit. Realistically, she's not that great. Literally, who she's fighting does everything she does. Who Caitlin is fighting does everything Caitlin does, just better and with more power. And speaking of that devil, Manon Fierro, looking like one of the brightest prospects we've seen in a while in females MMA. In the UFC is 4-0, beating Victoria Leonardo, Tabitha Ricci, Maria Bueno Silva, and Jennifer Maia. Yeah, not the greatest fights people to beat in the world, but you know, it looked great doing it. Looked pretty flawless. The only fight she had a little issues with was Jennifer Maya. She did show some holes. Um, but I think she is. I think she probably cleaned up that shit up, and I think she's ready for this fight. This is, I think, a number one contenders fight, no question. The winner will fight Valentina. I don't see Talia Santos getting the immediate rematch, and Alexa Grasso is not going to get that title fight. So, this is winner gets a title shot, and I think Manon's ready for that shot. Just she needs to get past the blonde, fat fighter. Depending on first fight, I have Manon minus 210 to plus 175. I would agree. I'd probably move Manon up to minus 250. She's just she does everything Caitlyn does, but better, and with more power. If she standing TKO'd Caitlyn, would I be shocked? No. Manon has a really good power. She almost killed Tabitha Ricci. Ricci is so tough that she kept getting up. Like, Manon is looking like she's 32 years old, so he might not be able to be up at the top of the rankings for long, but for the next 3 years, I won't be shocked if she's hanging around that 1 to 6 spot. She was part, and it is part, and I think leading the charge for that new wave of woman 125ers. Her, Casey O'Neill, Erin Blanchfield, the big three, and maybe it's someone else I'm forgetting, but those are the main three. And they're all gonna clean up the division, because for too long, women's 125 has been ruled by fighters who really ain't that good. Just get to rule the division because no one else is in it. You look at Jennifer Maya falling down the rankings now. Jessica I fell down the rankings and more talent came in. Jojo Calderwood. I think Chicanian's next. I think the new breed at 125 knocking out the old breed that really was never that good. And I think this is going to be the first huge part of that. So, with that being said, I am going to go Manon Fierro by decision here. I think going to be a big win, get that title shot, and, yeah, Manon by decision. Could I see Caitlyn squeaking out a decision, robbery or not? Yeah, I could see it. It's Caitlyn Chikagian. But do I think she will? No. After that, a fight that could be interesting. At lightweight, I think it's kind of clear who's gonna win, but it still could be a fun fight. Benil Dariush versus Mateus Gamer Gamrat. Good fight. I think it's kind of clear who's gonna win, but still a good fight. Let's talk about Benil Dariush. I don't think much of Benil. I know a lot of people suck his dick and think he's good, but I never saw much of him. Yeah, he's on the 8-fight win streak right now. 7-fight, my bad. But if you really look into that win streak, it's a shit win streak. The best win on it is Drew Dober. I think Drew Dober's really good, but come on. Thiago Moises sucks. Frank Camacho, good fuck. The card close, he almost went. He did go life and death with. Come on. Scott Holtzman, Diego Fiera, Tony Ferguson in 2021. Really, dude? Come on. Drew Dober, who again, very good. Besides that, you got no wins. You went life and death of the car. The car lost to a push close. Benil's game plan is he can strike, but he wants to hold you down for 15 minutes because he's boring. Nothing more to say. Gamrot, on the other hand, is really good. In the UFC, he is 4-1. A lot of people say he should be 5-0. A lot of people say he got robbed against Gurman, Kutidladze. I would tend to agree. That's what I think. but he is on a 4-fight winning streak, knocking out the same guy Benny beat, Scott Holtzman. He beat Jeremy Stevens, Diego Ferreira, Arman Trashukian. That Trashukian win, again, a lot of people say he lost. I tend to agree, but definitely not a robbery. Beating Arman Trashukian, a dude who I think is going to be a top 5, top 3 lightweight, is a huge win. And he didn't look bad. He didn't look bad against Arman, so I think that's a really good. That's only 4 months ago. We don't know how much he's really healed. Shocked he is back this quick after a fight like that. It wasn't a walk in the park, and he did take damage, but I guess he's already back. The betting odds for this fight have Gamrot minus 200 to plus 160. I agree. Gamrot's just a better fighter everywhere. So, Gamrot's gonna win. Let's not waste our fucking breath. Mateus Gamrot by decision. Should be an easy night in the office for the gamer. Nothing. Benny's gonna go back down the rankings, going life and death with fucking Dan Hooker or some shit, and he's gonna be happy about it. Nothing more to say. Oh boy, if you don't want bias, skip this breakdown, because it's only bias in this fight, because the next fight, the co-main, the real main event, if you're smart, Piotr No Mercy Jan versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. Oh fuck, I'm scared. Sink or swim time for the Sugar Show. What's gonna happen? Motherfucker's gonna turn into Michael Phelps and swim like a bitch. The Sugar Show's gonna beat Piotr Jan. Nothing more to say. The betting odds are wrong. People are wrong. He's gonna be the champion. Sean O'Malley is gonna beat Piotr Jan. The Sugar Show is gonna prove that he is for real, and Peter Pan is just not on his level. Sugar Sean W incoming. 18-0. He beat Marlon. He beat actor Pedro. He's gonna have to beat the winner of the next fight after he beats Peter Pan. Sugar Show W. After that, the co-main event of the evening. 2 of the most hated fighters in the UFC. Not gonna waste much time on this. I dislike both guys. We have actor main Sterling versus TJ Shaw. So we got the actor versus the juice head. Who's more likable? Honestly, it's probably TJ. I think TJ is way more likable. If you're honestly asking me. I think Aljo's a bitch. Aljo just seems like an unlikable douche. TJ seems like a douche, but he seems a little more bearable. I'm not talking about who the people they are, even though TJ did 10-7 Aljo at the press conference. TJ is gonna win the belt back. If he's 4% of the TJ he was, he's gonna run through Aljo. Stop Aljo's takedowns. Fucking don't fucking fall for any of the stupid feints. He doesn't have much power in his hands. TJ's gonna win. Nothing more to say. And fucking no. TJ Dillashaw by decision. And now the main event of the evening. We have Charles the Bronx Oliveira versus Islam watered down Khabib Makhachev. The fight we all been waiting for. Even if it's not deserved, we're all here to see one fight and one fight only, and that is the champ defend his belt versus Islam. Is Islam for real, or is he just hype from Khabib? I'm hyped for this fight. I think this is a great fight. It's time to see, man. Islam and Khabib talk all this shit. Talk all of this shit. Now it's time to put up or shut the fuck up. And I think Charles is gonna make him shut the fuck up. The betting odds for this fight are disrespectful. Islam minus 190. Islam's the fucking favorite. Listen, I don't tell you to bet often, if at all. Go bet on Charles Oliveira. Trust me. Thank me later. Him being the underdog here is disrespectful. I'm not saying he's gonna for sure win, but him being the underdog here is fucking bullshit. He should not be the underdog in this fight. Against Michael Chandler, okay. Against Dustin Poirier, okay. Against Justin Gaethje, okay. Not against Islam fucking Makhachev. Charles should be minus 1. I'll say minus 180, 190 by what Islam is. If he wins, everyone's pretty much in agreement. He is the greatest lightweight of all time, and I don't disagree. If he beats Islam, he's the greatest lightweight of all time. And I think he's gonna beat Islam. I think Islam's very good. He's not showing it against good fighters, but I think he is very good. But I think it's not his time yet, if it ever will be. I think the champion has a name, and that is Charles Oliveira. And still, I'm going Charles Oliveira by knockout/TKO in round number 2. Now, to go over my picks one more time, I got Lena Landsberg by decision, Muhammad Mukayev lock of the night by submission in the first, Armen Petrosyan by decision, Abubakar Nurmagomedov by decision, Nikita Krylov by decision, Caio Borrello by TKO in the third, Sean Brady by decision, Manon Fiorot by decision, Mateusz Gamrot by decision, Sugar Sean O'Malley by knockout in the first. You heard it here first. TJ Dillashaw and New by decision. And still Charles Oliveira knockout in the second. Tell me your picks down below. I could see if someone had a pick chart of Islam, Aljo, Jan, Benny, Caitlyn, and Bilal. I don't agree, but it's crazy how good this card is. That if you had completely different picks from me, it's not terrible picks. So I'm so hyped for this card, man, for the Sugar Show, but also Charles is gonna be fun. Caio, I'm hyped to see. Muhammad, Gamrot, Brady. I'm hyped for this card. So, you'll hear from me next week for a recap of this card and a breakdown of UFC Vegas 63 Qatar and Allen. Great main event there, but no one's thinking about that right now. I'm not even thinking about that. First time I've thought about that fight since last Saturday. So, anything else I can think to do? I told you to tell me your picks down below. I told you bet on Charles Oliveira, as you should. You'll hear from me next week, same bat time. And, enjoy the fight, man. Enjoy the fight. Early as fuck. I'm not looking forward to it. And, yeah. As always, 100 subs go by the end of the year. Like, comment, sub, all that shit. And as always, RX. Out. Sugar Show 18-0.